Hello everyone, my name is Francine Jane Predigon, aka Jane, and I'm a fashion designer student of BTV Garments, Fashion and Design. So, I am going to tackle about the crochet, all about crochet, what is crochet, what are the tools and materials that we are going to use, and the things or the methods that we are going to discuss. So I am also going to present to you the 6 basic crochet stitches, and also I will going to demonstrate the process of how we are going to make a crochet stitches. So let's start. So what is crochet? So crochet is a process. It is a process of creating textiles by using a crochet hook to interlock loops of yarn. So the name of crochet is derived from the French term crochet, meaning small hook. So crochet is actually an art. It is an art where textile is created with a single needle, with a hook in the edge, and a yarn. So this is not actually similar to knitting because knitting uses a pair of long needles to form the loops, while crochet uses a single hook or the single needle with a hook in the edge to hook the loops together directly on the piece. So these major differences makes a crochet much easier to work with than knitting. So they are actually or initially considered as just a hobby for people with a lot of free time. So this is the tools and the materials that you are going to use in making a crochet project. So this is the hooks. So hooks can be made from a variety of materials such as metal, wood, bamboo, or plastic. While yarns, however, there are 3 most common yarn choices for beginners, which are the wool, the cotton, and the acrylic yarn. So, in my experience, I have to recommend a wool fibered yarn, especially if you are a beginner. Wool have an elastic fiber that is why it is easy to unravel and to reuse, while cotton yarn is inelastic, which makes it more challenging to crochet with than wool. So while acrylic yarn is actually popular fiber to, for crochet enthusiasts, it is actually affordable choice for yarn and it is acceptable choice for beginners. So you can actually see them in notebooks when you will buy notebooks in a bookstore or national bookstores like that. So as you can see, this is an example of a crochet hooks that comes in the different sizes. So the material of this are made of metal while the handle is plastic. Actually, this is available in Shopee and they have variety of crochet materials that you can use and make for your crochet projects. So the purpose of having different crochet hook sizes depends on the size of the yarn that you are going to use on making a project. So if you're going to use a thin yarn like this one, this is actually cotton yarn and it's not stretchable. So if you have this kind of yarn which is thin, you have to use 2.5 millimeter hook. Now, if you wish to have a thicker yarn than this one, you have to use 2 threads of yarn. And at this moment, you're going to use the 3mm hook. Now, is crochet easy to learn? Of course, crochet is an easy craft to learn, and you only need to know a few stitches to be able to begin on making a variety of projects or a variety of crochet patterns to begin with. So, what are these stitches that we are going to know so that we could make different patterns of crochet? So what are these 6 basic crochet patterns or crochet stitches that we are going to know? In making a slip stitch or a slip knot, first you have to grab the end of the loop like this and let your 3 fingers below your pointing finger support the thread. Now let your right pointing finger and your middle finger grab the loop and twist this clockwise. Now, as you reach this area, you have to pinch this thread and pull it through. Again, let's do this one more time. First, grab the end. Let 3 fingers support the thread. Right pointing and middle finger should grab the loop. Twist clockwise and pinch the thread and pull it through. So this is how you make the slip stitch or the slip knot. Before we make the chain stitch, first we have to make the slip stitch. After we make a slip stitch, we have to prepare or to prep our hands on making the crochet. So first we have a thread over the pinky through the pointing and let your middle and the thumb grab the end of the yarn. So this is what it looks like. Again, let's do it one more time. Thread over the pinky through the pointing and let the middle and the thumb grab the end. So this is what it looks like before we make this chain stitch. Make sure that the thread below the pinky are not too tight. So make sure that the loop inside the hook should be a little bit loose but not too tight. So this is going to be a yarn over. This is called the yarn over method. Yarn over and pull through the loop. This is now the chain 1. Let's do it again. Yarn over and pull through the loop. Now we have the second chain, and after this we should make at least 20 chains to make a chain stitch. Now if we reach this kind of length, we have to adjust the middle and the thumb so that we could make a crochet easily. So this is what it looks like. This is now the chain stitch. So before we make a single crochet, we just did a slip stitch and the chain, and right now we're going to proceed on the single crochet. By the way, this chain will going to be the base, and this is the loops that we are going to look for. So right now we just had to add another one and then find the loop right before the additional one. So it's here. So we go through that loop, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two. So this is what it looks like. So let's do this again. Find the loop right here, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two. So let's do this one more time. Find the loop, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two. So let's continue this process up to the last chain. So as you can see, I am now nearly at the last chain. So let me finish this first and take my time. So find the loop, again find the loop. Yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, through two. So that now I just finished the single crochet and this is what it looks like. Earlier we just did the single crochet and right now we are going to do the half double crochet. So we just did the slip stitch and the chains. This will be the base and this will be the loops. And right now, before we do the half double crochet, we just need to lock this one, this very last chain that we did. So we just have to make another two because this one we're going to go back this chain. So just one and the two. Right now we're going to do the half double crochet. So yarn over, go through that loop right from this chain that we locked, go through that loop, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through three loops. So just like this one. Okay, let's repeat this one more time. So yarn over, go through the loop, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through three of them. So let's try it again. Yarn over, through the loop, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through three of them. So right now we are going to continue this process right at the end, at the very last chain that we have. So let's continue. So right now we are nearly at the end and we just have to continue it. So go yarn over, go through the loop. Wait a minute. yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3 again, like this. So as you can see, this will be the final product. So like that, this is the half double crochet. Okay, for the double crochet, the difference with the half double crochet is that the pattern of the half double crochet is yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, and pull through 3, while the double crochet will be like this. Okay, so first let's lock this that very last chain, and we just have to add additional 2 chains. So let's start. Yarn over, go through the loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is the pattern. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. That is the pattern compared to the half double crochet. So let's repeat it again. Yarn over, go through the loop. Sorry, let me repeat it first. Yarn over, go through the loop, yarn over, pull through 1, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. One more time. Yarn over, go through the loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. So look, this is what it looks like, and we just have to continue this up to the very last chain. As you can see, we just finished the pattern up to the very last chain, and what you can notice about the double crochet is that it is slightly bigger than the half double crochet. So, and also you can see a slightly bars compared to the half double crochet. You can see this spaces right here. So this is the final product for the double crochet. So right now we are at the very last crochet stitch, which is the treble crochet. And treble crochet means 3, while double crochet is 2. So the difference between the treble crochet and the double crochet is that it differentiates about the pattern. So in the treble crochet, the pattern goes pull over, pull over 1, pull over 2, and pull over 2. So it is a total of 3, while the double crochet uses 2, you pull over 2, and pull over 2. So that's a total of 2. So let's start. So lock the very last chain, and we're going to make additional 3 chains since it is a treble crochet. So let's start. Let's yarn over and go through the loop that we just locked, and we're going to yarn over, pull through that loop. So this pattern will begin right now. So yarn over, pull through 1, sorry, you should pull through 1, pull through 2, and pull through 2. That's it. That is treble crochet. So Let's do this again. Yarn over, go through the loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through one, pull through two, and pull through two. That's it. That is how you make the treble crochet. And right now we're going to continue this up to the very last chain that we had. So as you can see, we are nearly at the end. So let's just continue this. Yarn over, go through that loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through one, pull through two, and pull through two. So let's try it again. Yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through one, pull through one, pull through two, and pull through two. So this is what it looks like. So as you can see, the difference between the treble and the double crochet is that they both have bars on it with spaces, but the treble crochet is much more have a height, larger height than double crochet. So, and this is the final look. So this is the 6 basic crochet stitches, and I hope you like and learn something from my video. So thank you.
Hi guys, this is Angel and Diana Bor from BTVTED Garments Fashion and Design 2B. For today, I will discuss and demonstrate the 5 basic hand stitch. And here are objectives. At the end of our discussion, you will know first what is the 5 basic hand stitches, and second, know how the proper steps in sewing. Running stitch. This is a small hand stitch which is used for attaching fabrics together. Use a single thread with a knot at the end and make several running stitch at once. So hi guys, so I'm going to demonstrate the step by step of the running stitch. So first, we need to knot the end of the thread. Begin the running stitch by poking your threaded needle up through the fabric. Then step 2, poke the needle back down through the fabric next to where you just came up and pull the thread down into your first stitch. Then step 3, now poke your needle back up through the fabric, leaving a space from the previous stitch. Then poke the needle back down through the fabric again, making your second stitch. Then make sure that the thread is neither too loose or too tight so that the two pieces of fabric remain flat. And once you are done, secure the end of the I secure the end with a few back stitches. Then, as I've said earlier, once you are done, secure the end with a few back stitch or lock it. Basting stitch. This is the simple and yet indispensable stitch you should master. It is used for hand stitching your fabrics before sewing hemline or pocket placements. First, pin the fabric area together that you plan to sew. Thread a hand sewing needle with a single thread and knot the end. Insert the needle in the edge of the fabric near the seam but where it won't be sewn over by machine stitching. If you do accidentally sew over the basting stitches, they will be difficult to remove and could weaken your final stitching. Tie a knot at the end of the single thread and make wide stitches about 3 to 8 inches from one another. Be careful not to make it too tight or too loose because it will cause the fabric to become deformed. The goal is to keep it flat so that you can trace the pattern properly. Once you are done with the hand stitching, secure the thread at the end so that it stay in place until you need it. Later, when you little seam stress, move on to sewing with the sewing machine. Pull the needle up through both layers of fabric until the knot stops the thread. Push the needle down through the layers to sew a single stitch about the width of a fingerprint. This is called a running stitch. Step 4, using this simple running stitch, continue sewing along the line. Pull the needle through the fabric firmly, but not too tightly or too um, pucker. Repeat the stitches until you have come to the end of your fabric pattern. Then last, cut the thread at the needle and tie a simple knot to secure the stitching. Backstitch. This is a stronger and more secure hand stitch which done with a single thread. Make a single stitch in and out of the fabric and then go back with the needle to a spot before the previous stitch came out. Prepare the needle and mark the seam. Thread a needle with a piece of thread no longer than a yard. Longer pieces tend to get tangled and knot as you sew. Knot the end of the thread with a large knot that won't pull through the fabric. For extra strength, you can knot the two ends together to double the thread. To keep your seam as straight, as tidy as possible, it's helpful to mark the line of stitching with a thin pencil line. Push the needle into the fabric where you want to start the seam. Bring the needle back through both layers of fabric just in front of where the knot is. Then push the needle back into the fabric between where the needle went in and out of the fabric to create the first stitch. Bring the needle through the fabric the same distance you came forward. When you creating the first stitch, these stitches can touch each other, or you can space them a little farther apart. Continue stitching in this fashion across your seam. Take your time to sew a small stitches if you need a secure seam. This is especially important for other sewing projects that don't require high durability. You can make these stitches a little longer if you want to work faster. Once you've sewn a distance, you will see the thread overlap on the reverse side of the fabric. If you're sewing very small stitches, they'll almost appear as a solid line. To finish the seam, make a few stitches right on the top of one another. This will anchor the thread like a knot. Cut any excess thread off the knot at the beginning. Whip stitch. The whip stitch is usually used for hemming, and the thread keeps going to over the edge of the fabric in order to enclose it. It also frequently used to create a seam into pieces of fabrics or joining two edges together. First, thread the needle. If you want to camouflage the whip stitch, use thread in a coordinating colors. If you want the whip stitch to stand out, use thread of a contrasting color. Embroidery thread works well for this stitch, but any thick thread can be used. To tie the knot, try moistening your forefinger. Wrap the thread around your forefinger once, then use your thumb to push the thread off your finger, twisting it in the process. Finally, pull the end of the thread to tighten the knot. Pin or base the layer together to hold them in place. So first, poke your needle up through the top layer of fabric while looking at the two layers of fabric from the side. Draw the needle up through the bottom of the top layer, leaving the bottom layer untouched. Starting your stitch about 1/8 in from the end. Also note that each stitch you make should be 1/8 in away from your sewn edges as well. By only piercing through the top layer, you will draw a knot between the two layers, thereby hiding it from sight. Poke your needle up through both layers of fabric. Circle the needle around the bottom layer of fabric and pierce through the fabric directly under your first hole. Draw it straight through both layers of fabric, making sure that it comes out in nearly the same position as your first half stitch. This is your first full stitch since it connects both layers together. When you complete this step, the thread should be wrapped around the edges of both layers in an even stitch, forming a loop around the outside of fabric. Make sure that the stitch is secure but not so tight that it causes the fabric to bunch up. Bring the needle up through both layers again at an angle. Bring the needle back to the bottom of the fabric and poke it up through both layers of fabric. Catch stitch. This is the one to use when you want to make a hem which has some stretch. It resembles the herringbone. The needle catches a couple of threads from the first fabric and then should go to catch the same amount of threads. Press the hem on the inside of the garment according to your pattern instructions. Catch stitch is normally done on a wide hem. For my example, I pressed up the one row of edges as 1/2 inch and then pressed the hem up 1 inch. Then next, reinsert the needle in a straight line horizontal into the hem at 3. This is parallel to the first stitch and catching only the folded hem. The needle should not go through the outside fabric. You will see that this is a small size stitch like at 2. And pull the thread through. You should see a cross shape just above the fold of the hem. Repeat the step 1, 2, and 3 and you will catch your hem like a professional seamstress. So that's all, guys. Thank you so much.